Hello, Guyana. This is the GHC Health Info channel, and I'm Dr. Ghazi. In the last episode on COVID 19, I did talk about the common precautions which we can take when we are handling cash, right? Because I wanted to address that because there are a lot of vendors and small businesses who deal with cash, and that is one of the very primary source that could be, and that is very a primary source of transfer of infection, right? Today, going to talk about something else. So still, there are a lot of people who are sick, who are in the hospitals or who are at their homes, and world is fighting, and so are we. And after the last episode, people did appreciate it and asked me several questions. Why? Because they now are convinced that if we do certain things and break the chain of transfer of this virus from one person to the other, then we could control this epidemic in Guyana. And believe me, I am a very optimistic person. And I know if you listen what the experts are saying, believe me, no way that we can beat this epidemic. Yes, I totally believe so. People ask me that, okay, this virus is there, and how do we get the infection? And what about the surfaces, different surfaces? Can the virus stay there? And how long does it stay there? And what we should do? Let me tell you this very briefly. This virus is transferred by air, like, droplet infection, and it could go from one person to the other by, sneezing, coughing. And I have already told you that we have to prevent the transfer of infection by putting a mask. If you have a cough or sneeze, put a mask on your face. Simple mask, surgical mask. And also the elbow rule. You have to put your elbow, not, this is wrong, but the elbow. So by doing that, you prevent the germs to transfer or go into the air. The second thing is that when you go to your mom, when you go to your dad, or your brothers and sisters and friends, they meet and they hug each other, they kiss their cheeks. So you have to stop that. You can't do that because that is a direct transfer of this virus into the other person. Italy has a higher rate of infection because it's their cultural thing to kiss the cheeks, right? And we really don't want to do that. If we can stay away from this practice, we can save the rise in infection rate and breaking the chain of transfer. People ask me, would it be dangerous to touch the surfaces where, you go on bus and you go on taxi and you go to the market, you put your hand on some surface, you put your hand on some railing, and restaurants or stores, washrooms. So does it cause infection? And if the virus can survive on surfaces, yes. Virus survives on surfaces like plastic, 72 hours. And stainless steel, 48 hours. Wood, 4 days. And on the gloves, surgical gloves, is 8 hours, right? And copper, it is 4 hours. So on different materials, the virus survives from hours to days. But does it always cause infection like with the passage of time? Does its infectious activity remain same? The virulence remains same? No. The experts in New England Journal says that with passage of time, the virulence decreases. For example, plastic, which can have this virus alive for 72 hours. At the end of 72 hours, the virus is no more infectious because it is only 1% of the viral load which remains there active and alive. So we don't have to be scared like every time you touch the surface you'll be infected. But yes, you have to be very careful. You have to wash the surfaces, wipe the surfaces with disinfectant, and the good disinfectant is soap water like it is for your hand, right? Okay, so what are some recommendations of the WHO? The recommendation is clean and disinfect surfaces with soap and disinfectants, right? Hand washing, not like hand washing, I told you to put your hand and take it out, but thorough hand washing, like we show you last time. Your hands should rub each other very thoroughly between the fingers, like your thumbs. You have to do a circular motion around the thumbs, the back of the hand, both hands. You have to wash them very, very thoroughly, like 30 to 40 seconds, right? The next thing is to maintain a distance of 6 feet between you and the other person. Why 6 feet? The transfer of virus through sneezing and cough is least likely at that distance. But if you like be near somebody like 2 feet, 3 feet, it is very likely that you get the infection, right? Most importantly, if you have symptoms like fever, pain, dry cough, itching in the throat, it's better that you stay home. But right now, because of this pandemic and epidemic, if you even don't have anything, you have to stay home. It is better because we have to break this cycle. We have to break this chain or transfer of this virus from one person to another. And that's the only way we can keep the curve flat. You see, if we don't do these things which I just talked, there will be a high peak in the infection, in the epidemic, and we will get a lot of people infected. But if we follow these instructions, which are recommendations which I gave you, we can keep the curve flat and we will get rid of this infection soon. Remember, like I told you in the last video, that being young has an advantage. Like the symptoms might not be that serious, you might not be sick that serious, or your fever or your throat or your lungs might not be that much affected, but you definitely will be a carrier of the virus. And when you go home and take that virus to your father, your grandfather, people who have diabetes or underlying respiratory infection or something, you are giving them the virus, which will be very dangerous and fatal. Fatal means they can die. So please be careful. Follow these rules, which is not difficult. You can do it. I know you can do it. I know you can listen to me. I know we all Guyanese would join hands. Just forget what differences you have. Forget which color, which creed you are, black, yellow, white, brown. We have all to be together in this fight, in this war against this pandemic. See you in the next episode.